Okay, this is the first trial of Valor that you encounter in the game. It's on Chapter 3. So, the enemies that we have in front of us here are mages and IS ninjas in their undead forms. Meaning that if they want to, they can grab you at any time and do a suicide grab. And that doesn't actually destroy them, but that makes you have to go kill them, and you don't get any credit for the kill. So the best way to deal with this situation is to come here with the Falcon's Talons up to level 3 and the Wind Blades up to level 2. And in the beginning of this whole fight, all I'm doing is going around and using the Wind Blades. I'm not even aiming. What we want to do is sever all of the limbs of everybody, so that everybody except the mages are just crawling around on the map. And then what we're going to be doing is systematically taking out the mages, then the IS ninjas, and then the Grey ninjas. So this is a very, very hard trial. Okay, so it looks like I exhausted all my magic. Now what I'm doing is I'm just going around in a circle and waiting for the mages to appear. Now, before earlier in the guide, I was recommending that you do to take out these guys with that particular move right there. You do the Wind Run via the Flying Swallow, via the Azuna Drop, and the button combo for that. The Wind Run is where's my controller? The Wind Run is X and A, and then the Flying Swallow is Y. So you'd press X, A, and then Y. And then to do the Azuna Drop when you're dangling with them in the air is XY. So you'd press XA, Y, XA, Y, XY. But I was experiencing a lot of problems here doing the Wind Run into the Flying Swallow. So for the majority of my attacks, all I do is just press forward and then the Y button, and then I press the XY button to do the Azuna Drop. So you really need the Falcon's Talons up to level 3 here, but the whole problem here is that yes, we can take out the undead mages with one Fly Swallow Azuna Drop, but it's going to take 2 Flying Swallow Azuna Drops to take out the IS ninjas. So, and then once we're doing with the Grey ninjas, it'll be a different story. We're just going to be doing UTs to get a lot of our money back. So there's several ways you can handle this. You can come here, and this is what I did. I came here with every single item, a Talisman of Rebirth, and I also, in the course of this whole fight, I used a Lives of 1,000 Gods, because that's the reward that you're going to get for this. I wanted to just use the Talisman of Rebirth and then abstain from using the Lives of 1,000 Gods, because I considered to myself that you can't just go buy a Lives of 1,000 Gods as you can just go buy a Talisman of Rebirth, even though the latter is rather expensive at $50,000. So as a backup, I had equipped a Talisman of Rebirth. I didn't actually have to use it. But okay, so anyway, I don't know the count for the mages. I think there's about like 20 mages, and then like maybe 50 IS ninjas, and then maybe 50 Grey ninjas, or it could be something. I don't know if it's 50 for the IS ninjas and the Grey ninjas. Maybe it's 30. I just don't know. There's no counter. Even if I had the Karma screen up, it wouldn't tell me the counter, like the number of enemies I killed. So there is a. This is the arena where you fight all of the Tests of Valor, and there is a mound that I frequently will like. And see this mound right over here? Where is it? There is a rise in the. It's like an island. It's over here somewhere. It's a good spot to stand if you just want to just block and just survey the environment. So, and you can't get tagged by incendiary shuriken. So what we got going here is we got mages. We're taking out the mages, and all of the IS ninjas and all of the gray ninjas they're all crawling around in the middle of the screen. They're not much of a threat, and if you're moving constantly, you're not going to get tagged too often by the incendiary shurikens that the IS ninjas are throwing. So if you were to go over to that pile of bodies, see where all the crawlers are? If you were to go over there and slay one of the IS ninjas, then what you would have is an IS ninja chasing you, because the way this works is that you kill a mage. Okay, so it's kind of odd with the mages, but the mages are just going to be in like a pair every single time. But if once we take them out, what we're going to be doing is killing one of the IS ninjas, and then what's going to happen is that we're going to have an IS ninja respawn, and then he's going to be chasing us, then we're going to kill him, and then another one's going to respawn. The only problem is that you have to go into that pile and kill one of the IS ninjas to have them spawn. But for now, we're just going around the map, going around in a circle. And I'm not even using the wind run to go into the flying swallow, just because it doesn't seem to work very well. And a lot of the times you're going to try to do the flying swallow with this particular weapon, and he's not gonna even do the flying swallow. The reason for that, here's the null I was talking about. The reason that he doesn't do that is because you have to be somewhat close to him to even do it, because if you have the dragon sword equipped, for instance, you can do the flying swallow whenever you want to travel. But when you attempt to do the flying swallow with no enemies around with this weapon, the Falconer's Talons, he just doesn't even do the flying swallow. So you have to at least have the enemy somewhere around you. It works, but you have to be aware that sometimes it's going to fail, and you have to move out of the way very promptly. I was also experiencing several times where, okay, so it looks like all the mages are gone. The reason I switched to the Dragon Sword right there was because I don't trust the Falcon's Talons to do an OT. Now you see what I did right there? And notice that this guy's not killed yet. It takes two. What I really like to do is have, okay, so you see how all the mages are gone? Now, it's just from here on out until we kill all of the IS ninjas. We're going to kill one IS ninja, and then every time we kill one, another one's going to spawn, a full one, not one of the crawlers. The crawlers are just going to be there, just hanging around. This is the best way to prevent you from fighting like everything at once. Otherwise, this is just madness. But damn, this is a very, very hard trial. I can't stress how hard this is. It takes a lot of practice. So whatever you do, don't like try to melee with these guys and block and counter, because they have their grab will take away about 3/4 of your life. It's an exploding grab. All of these enemies have exploding grabs because they're the undead versions. So it just goes on for a very long time, and I'm going to be narrating this whole thing. It's in real time, and sometimes when you get tagged by an incendiary shuriken, sometimes if you're in the water and you're guarding it, sometimes I feel like the water might nullify the explosion a little bit, but I'm not really too sure about that. So I'm kind of just going around letting him catch up a little bit so I can wind path off of him, because you get iframes for the wind path. Part of me really likes getting into the groove of the wind path, and then another part of me is kind of worried that the wind path isn't going to connect, but it normally does connect if you're doing it properly. So basically, if you do a fly swallow Azuna drop on these guys, it puts them into delimb status, but then they're still not dead, so there's still a problem. And I would just prefer to do another fly swallow Azuna drop rather than try to OT these guys and risk getting kamikaze grabbed. So there was a perfect example of what I like to do, even though it failed right there. Also, a lot of the times I fail I fail to press the XY button to do the Azuna drop out of sheer nervousness. Just because there's so much going on, I'm constantly worried, and my brain just fails me because I'm scared. So this goes on for a while. Now, if I were to go over and kill one of the, you see the crawlers? If I were to go over there, let me scoot up a little bit. If I were to go over to the pile of crawlers and kill a gray ninja, then what would happen is I would have a gray ninja and an IS ninja chasing me, which is not preferable. You just want to face one guy at a time. So this gets a lot easier when it's just the gray ninjas, but for now we're just dealing with the IS ninjas. All the mages are out of the picture. Okay, also, since we're doing standard kills all the time, we're doing the Fly Swallow Azuna drop like twice. I like to do it twice in a row to just take these guys out. See right there? That's a standard kill. So the blue orbs you get blue orbs for doing standard kills, and standard kills, the Azuna drop is a standard kill, so frequently look around for blue orbs, because those are going to help you out immensely. So here's the knoll I was talking about again, and it just feels like some psycho's chasing you this whole time. If you get tagged by an incendiary shuriken, what you need to do if you're not nearby an enemy who might grab you, just stop in your tracks and just let it detonate and guard the whole, and just let it blow up, but make sure you keep your guard up. That's the way you can minimize the damage you take here. So sometimes I come down off a Fly Swallow Azuna drop, the first one that is, then I guillotine throw. But I'm just not that comfortable with this particular weapon. I'm getting more comfortable with it as I use it more, but sometimes I just feel like the obliteration technique fails me sometimes. I just don't know why that is. And also sometimes I think it has to do if you're somersaulting these guys on dry land as opposed to the water, then they might not get delimbed if it's in the latter case. So this is just going to go on for a while. Might as well talk about the tests of Valor themselves. There's 9 tests of Valor, this being the first one in Chapter 3. They're on Chapters 3 through 11, and you get a reward every single time. If you die, though, you don't take anything you've earned. You have to at least defeat the trial to take it with you, because otherwise you're just going to get killed. On several of these tests of Valor, you get lives of 1,000 gods. My guidebook lists the 1, 2, 3. So it looks like there's a potential to get, out of all these tests of Valor, out of all 9 of them, there looks like you can get 3 lives of 1,000 gods. Two of them contain talismans of rebirth. Let me see here. 1, 2, 3. 3 of them contain a jewel of the demon seal. And the other one, on Chapter 10, the 8th test of Valor, it contains grains of spiritual life and yellow essence. Some of these are easy, but some of them are just extremely brutally hard. Like some of them you can get by with like spamming attacks, like spamming UTs. Obviously this is not one of those. I apologize for pressing the pause button frequently. It's just because I needed like a break, like a second, just to breathe. So if you're reluctant about using a lives of the 1,000 gods to actually defeat this, just bear in mind that you'll get one in return. But I was actually a little bit reluctant to actually use the Lives of the Thousand Gods. I would have been more disposed to use the Talisman of Rebirth. But at least they kind of cancel each other out. I mean, you use one, but you get one. And there's a lot of other Lives of the Thousand Gods that don't even require you to beat a test of Valor. They're just in the game. But there are a couple more that we can grab, namely the one on Chapter 6 and the one on Chapter 11. So... okay, so it just seems like this never ends. But there will come a point when you won't have any more spawners of IS ninjas. And then what that means is that you're going to have to go over to the pile of crawlers and then just take out the remaining IS ninjas. You got to be really careful about that, though. You don't want to go over there and get grabbed. What else was I going to say about that? Yeah, it will end. This madness, it will end. So spacing's very important on this. When the guy's chasing you, I'm constantly moving the right analog stick to look over my shoulder to see where he's located, and you kind of have to go through gut, like knowing when to do the wind path. Like right there, I knew I could do it right there. You can't be too close to him when you're doing it, and you can't be too far away. Otherwise, you're likely to get grabbed. So it is very. It takes a lot off your shoulders just to know that if you get grabbed, you have a Talisman of Rebirth to fall back on. But I mean, this whole time you're dash evading, so it's going to wear on your hand. It's going to. It's just going to seem like you're not making any progress, but you are. Every one of these guys you kill, you're getting closer to your goal. And once we just take these guys out, it's pretty easy after that. It's just, I think the hardest part of this whole thing is just dealing with the mages first for me. And then, obviously, these guys are pretty tough. I don't know why the level 3 Falcon's Talons can't just take these guys out with one Fly Swallow Azuna drop. I just don't understand it. So I don't think I've got grabbed this whole time, but that's just because I was on guard completely. So I'm just keeping my guard up. Like, as long as you're keeping your guard up from a distance, you're not going to get tagged with incendiary shurikens. They're not going to go through your guard. And it's nice to stand behind that knoll where they can't hit you. Also, when you're engaging in combat with these guys, just make sure that whenever you body slam the guy into the ground, make sure you're not anywhere near the pile of crawlers. So just keep them at a distance, and just keep the IS ninjas at a safe distance, and then keep your spacing intact, and then wind path off their heads. That's actually a really good strategy. And here I'm just constantly looking over my shoulder just to see where the guy is. It would be nice to have some kind of a rear view mirror or something, or some kind of vision that you can look from behind you. And this was actually the second time I defeated this. I did this previously, and once I killed all the IS ninjas, then I went to town on killing the Grey ninjas, and I wasn't killing them one at a time, and I got completely overwhelmed. So this is the best way to just be able to control this situation. Like, when it's going on, you feel like you have at least a modicum of control over here. I mean, you still got these guys chasing you one after another, but at least it's one guy. At least it's one guy. Even though you've got other guys, even you've got the other D-limbed enemies throwing shurikens. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. Looks like they're almost... I may have killed all the guys. Yep, okay, so all the IS ninjas are killed. So what I need to do now is I'm going to switch to the Dragon Sword once again, just because I feel more comfortable in doing OTs with this weapon. Now it's actually a pretty dangerous task. You've got to go over to the... We need to take care of the rest of the IS ninjas. No more are going to spawn because they're not spawning. We just need to we just need to kill the last couple of guys. So I like to go over there and just... I think I had the arrows equipped. No, I had the shurikens. Shuriken cancel, and then just take care of these guys. So that was the last guy. And all we have now is Grey Ninjas. But you notice none are spawning right now. I gotta kill one of the Grey Ninjas first. Then we'll have the same situation where we have a bunch of Grey Ninjas in the middle. What was I doing here? Shooting them? This is a really safe bet. Just to shoot one, and then from here on out until the trial ends, we're going to have one Grey Ninja spawning every single time we slay a newly spawned Grey Ninja. And then we're going to have that pile of crawlers in the middle, but they're not a threat unless you get close to them, because all they're doing is throwing shurikens, which barely even harm you whatsoever. So one problem here is when you're doing the UTs, your visibility is kind of there's kind of a haze all around you when you're doing that charge. So just kind of take your pick, whichever weapon you want. See how the guy just kind of appeared out of the left side? You've really got to be careful. Once you kill a guy, and okay, let's take this for an example. I just slayed him. Now ideally what I want to do is I want to collect the essence, and then I want to go over to charge. But I don't want to start my charge right where the guy is coming, and possibly getting grabbed. And then that would be the end of this whole test of Valor, which has gone on for the last half hour. I don't want to lose my progress. So there's no real difference between these Grey Ninjas and the Undead Ninjas, except that they have the ability. These guys can do the Gleaming Blade attack, not the Gleaming Blade UT, but the Gleaming Blade attack. And they could also, as all of the other enemies can do in this test of Valor, they grab you, and then you need to take them out. So this goes on for quite a while. I was surprised at just how many of these guys there were. It just seemed like they're... I pretty much know for a fact... I know there are... the mages number the fewest. There can't be more than 20 mages. But there are... I think that the distribution of these guys here and the IS ninjas are equal. Because it just felt like it took about the same amount of time, but... Killing the mages is always... It's pretty short work, but you've got to be really careful that you don't receive too much damage, and you watch out for all their ninpo attacks. So, I killed one guy. Now, you see that was pretty close. If you can't get off a UT and all you can do is safely ET, do it, because you don't want to lose progress here. So you've got to really scan the environment. See, I killed him. Now I think I'm going to absorb his essence. You see, he appeared kind of out of nowhere, right there. So when you are charging, if you want to do my strategy, you may want to use the Lunar if you want to. The reason I didn't want to use the Lunar is because I didn't want to inadvertently have that flame finishing move hit any of the crawlers. So. Don't even rely on throwing shurikens, because as you just saw right there, I was right next to the guy, and Ryu was throwing shurikens at the crawlers. So that could have potentially ended up with me getting grabbed. So I think as this trial goes on, I use one of my final healing items just because I thought to myself, you know what, I might as well use a grains of spiritual life and you know, just in case someone grabs me, because the health I have right now would not allow me to survive getting grabbed. Using a grains of spiritual life and completely filling up my health, that would allow me to survive. So, and I also knew that I had the Talisman of Rebirth to fall back on still. But as I got further into this trial and almost, you know, got this far and was ready to complete it, I didn't want to have to resort to that, because that is a $50,000 item. It's not cheap, and Giga who we're going to fight after this, you pretty much need a Talisman of Rebirth on him, because he's one of the worst, poorly designed bosses in this, and cheap bosses in this entire game. So that's another thing you need to consider. You need to not only come here with a lot of money, but leave here with a lot of money, so you could buy more stuff to deal with Giga Death. Unless you're simply doing the Test of Valor and then ending it. So mobility is crucial here, as is scanning the environment. So that's right there. I was checking to see how many healing items I had. I had one, and I said, you know what, just let me use it, because I'm not losing all this progress. It's completely, you know, it's completely unnecessary to get grabs here, and I would rather waste a grains of spiritual life, which are, I believe there's 7,000, rather than getting grabbed and then having to use the Talisman of Rebirth, which is 50,000. So that was my thinking when I used that healing item. So more guys come. They will stop. Just give it time. But yeah, I would say that this trial is pretty tough. I mean, it's got a very steep learning scale. When I first did this, I just had no idea what was expected of me. Just took so much practice and even more preparation. I mean, when I first started this guide, pretty much I was preparing to do this Test of Valor. It's that bad. The Test of Valor in Chapter 4 is not hard whatsoever, so at least we get a breather between this Test of Valor and the Test of Valor on Chapter 5. So hopefully this is almost over. Just don't get complacent and think that, oh, okay, the battle's over. It must be over because I've killed enough guys. Never think that, because that's when the guy will appear out of the side of the screen, grab you, and kill you. But I have never gotten to this phase and gotten that complacent where I got killed here. I've only got killed in the first two phases. But definitely, this is your time to get your money back, definitely, because every one of these kills, I believe you get 500 almost. So, I mean, we've had to use so many items that it's about time for us to get remunerated over here with UT kills, definitely. I mean, that's what I was thinking this whole time. It's finally time for me to get paid back. Okay, there's the next guy coming over the knoll. Got a little bit too close. Don't want to get close to the crawlers. I only could get off an ET right there. I was fine with that. They are going to completely refill your health and Nimpo. Your key gauge is going to be completely restored, as is your health bar. So it's a nice, nice considerate touch that this game does. And obviously you get to keep all the money you've received and the prize you receive for beating the Test of Valor. So is that it? Nope. Also, another reason I wanted to save the Talisman of Rebirth was, like I said, because of Gigadeath. And there's actually 2 Talismans of Rebirth on the next stage, so there's no shortage of Talismans of Rebirth. Is this it? Nope. So I mean, it's pretty exhilarating. I mean, one of the things that I was just completely nervous about was, please, Xbox 360, don't freeze on me now, because it freezes on a daily basis. Okay, so finally it's over. Now I'm gonna get a double kill on these guys, and that's it for the Test of Valor. We've done it. It was extremely tough, but we did it. So now we're gonna get our prize. I'm gonna hang a left over here. Wasn't sure where the box was, but there it is. And here is the prize. And I thank you for watching. I'll see you in Test of Valor number 2 on Chapter 4.